Welcome, everyone. You are now being part of the Tucson Metro Chamber's Knowledge at Noon. Today, our speaker is Lisa LOVALLO. She is the Southern Arizona Vice President for Cox Communications. She will be taking questions as we go. If you want to write down your questions in the chat function, and we'll follow them from there. So with that, I will turn this meeting over to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, so much for being here today.
Thank you for the invitation. And thank you to everyone who decided to dial in or call in or web in or however you're getting this information. Certainly a great opportunity for me to do something different out of my house today. So thank you for that. I thought what I'd do is kind of just give you just a general update about how at least our network is performing. And I think I can probably speak for the other telco folks since we've been in touch quite a bit over the last 30 days. Talk about how we're treating and dealing with customers. You might have some issues there too that might have some information that might be useful. How our employees are doing, talk a little bit about what we're doing to support small business, and then get down to the real meat of it, which is how can you make your new work from home situation with so many people using devices at your house, how can you get that Wi-Fi pumped to the max? How do you get the most out of your broadband product? So generally speaking, just to give you guys a sense of it, you can imagine how much more internet use is taking place right now with kids out of school and everyone working from home. The last 2 weeks of March, when we schedule how much broadband capacity we think we'll need to have for the entire year, that was completely consumed by the end of March for the entire 2020. I mean, we've never seen this much usage of the internet so quickly in really the history of the industry. Fortunately, many companies like Cox have been for years investing, billions of dollars nationally to upgrade their infrastructure by putting more fiber into the networks, by augmenting, fiber to the home, by using all different types of platforms to squeeze out as much bandwidth capacity as possible, and boy, is really paying off. I will tell you that the peak periods of usage of the internet have changed. It used to be kind of first thing in the morning and then in the evening when people would finish eating dinner and fire up a Netflix or something, but now the peak periods have really changed. They've swifted from evening to really throughout the entire day, a steady uptick. Now that's leveled off a little bit, I think, particularly as kids have kind of settled into the homeschooling and the work from home thing has started to take hold mostly, but it's a tremendous amount of traffic. And I'll tell you, in Southern Arizona, the thing that really makes it work are what are called nodes, which is those pedestal things you see outside your home. Each of those has about 200 homes on it, and those are performing really well. Those are the key kind of backbone of our network. And we have no escalated nodes in Southern Arizona, which means we don't have nodes that are being overly congested. So while you might experience some latency in peak periods, I would say in general, we think that our network is performing very, very well under the circumstances. So that's kind of comforting. As far as customers, as you can imagine, with all the kids that are trying to get online, and we're no longer going into customers' homes. We stopped doing that last week. And so servicing customers that have a technical problem where we have to go out to the house, we've been really creative. We've got some new apps and things that we can use to talk to customers when we get to the premise. Technicians talk to customers through their sliding glass doors. I mean, you name it. There's all kinds of stories about ways that we're trying to help customers with technical issues or getting them installed. And that's continuing to evolve. And we're really just kind of dealing with that on the fly. We've got traditional ways of handling technical issues, but since we can't go into the house anymore, we've had to get really creative on how we fix more difficult challenges. And that seems to be going as well as could be expected. I'm also happy to report that none of our employees have tested positive for COVID-19 in Southern Arizona. We have had 2 contractors that work for us tell us that they've had several employees that have had issues. And so we've suspended the use of those contractors temporarily until they can get through an incubation period. So again, we're kind of learning as we go on some of the protocols around our contractors, but we've been able to keep our employees safe at this point. So that's a real blessing for us here in the South. As far as small businesses, which is the lifeblood of Southern Arizona, we've been working with the Restaurant Association, the Chamber of Commerce, to do some public service announcements and other things like that to promote takeout week, anything that we can do to talk about things to help restaurants help their customers come and get meals or grab and go, that type of stuff. So we've been doing all that, those public service announcements at no charge, obviously, to those small businesses. We also sent out to all our partners information on the CARES Act, how to apply for SBA loans, how to apply for payroll protection. I'm sure the Chamber has been sending this information out as well, but we're really trying to do everything we can to help our small businesses. So why don't I just take a pause there for a second and see if anybody has any questions about networks in general, our network, how we're serving customers, anything specific to telecommunications in general in Southern Arizona or nationally.
Do you share your lines with other providers, or are they only Cox?
They're only Cox. Okay, well, why don't I get into your home, your work from home situation, or your schooling from home, or all the stuff that's happening now in your house that just wasn't happening a month ago, at least to the extent it is today. So one of the things that the Chamber asked me to discuss was specifically around how can you do more, how can you maximize the broadband connection that you have in your home, and some things that you can do to amp that up a little bit. So I have a little list here of some ideas that you could take an action step on that would help the bars in your house, so to speak. The first one is to disconnect devices in your home from your Wi-Fi that you don't need to have on them, like your dishwasher or your refrigerator, a coffee maker, devices that don't require that you have a really good Wi-Fi signal, right? Do you really need your coffee pot on right now, or do you need your kids' schooling to be better? So you'd be surprised, any device in your house that could have a sensor in it will connect into or take some strength off the Wi-Fi signal. So, kind of go around and take a second look at your appliances and see if any of those are taking Wi-Fi capacity from your network. The second one, and this might not sound fun, but it does help. When viewing movies, select standard def versus high def. That helps save capacity. Consider lowering the resolution on your doorbell camera if you have one, or other security cameras at your home. That will also help at your home. So, I think you probably almost disconnect your security camera, so to speak, at least make it low res. Place your Wi-Fi modem or your router in a centrally located area so that the signal can reach more rooms within your home. That's something most of us know by now, but you'd be surprised just moving your router or your modem, how much it can improve your Wi-Fi signal. When planning a video conference or Google Meets or a get-together like this, Skype, schedule them in the morning or the evening hours. Morning demand, moving demand away from busy afternoon times. Utilize telephone conference calls over video streaming. It takes less demand to do that. Plug your computer directly into your modem rather than working off your Wi-Fi. That's an option too, so that you can save your Wi-Fi for other things. Beware of windows, doors, and cement walls, as they are common obstructions that can interfere with the signal's ability to extend throughout your home. So you happen to live in a house that has adobe walls, it's really hard to get a signal through adobe walls. If you have a gamer at home, ask them to download upgrades and stream at night, as gaming devices eat up a lot of bandwidth, slowing speeds to other devices relying on Wi-Fi in your home. Keep your Wi-Fi, your modem, or your router away from Bluetooth devices, because Bluetooth devices like smartphones, smartwatches, they tend to operate on the same frequency as your Wi-Fi connection and can interfere with the transmission of data, your data between devices and with Wi-Fi. Steer clear of locating modems near a refrigerator, microwave, baby monitor, and other devices that emit electronic radiation. So those are our top 10. I know they're thrilling and exciting, but I don't know if any of you have any ideas of what you've been doing to pump up your Wi-Fi signals, but those are pretty nuts and bolts of trying to keep a strong Wi-Fi signal in your home. Questions, comments? You can always go to, Cox.com. There's probably a lot of other things you could dive into there. But the main ones are anything in your home that could be taking bandwidth from your Wi-Fi to either dismantle it or move it away from your modem or um, your modem or your, what am I calling it, your router. Any questions? I'm sorry I don't have more of a whiz-bang thing to tell you. You know, it's really hard when you have 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 devices taking Wi-Fi capacity all the time. And now with people at home and with kids using their computers and homeschooling and meetings like this, it's really, it takes its toll on Wi-Fi connections for sure. How are your guys' internets working in general?
Mine seems to be working pretty well from home, thanks to Cox. So you guys are great. But I guess I had a quick question. You know, we're starting to see some of the bigger organizations like Netflix and some others that are reducing the quality of the images and reducing the streaming capabilities. Obviously, we'll probably see more of that, but is that something that can be affected locally? Is it? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how we can continue to do all the things you want to do online without having to worry about using up bandwidth and having to reduce image qualities and all that.
Yeah, I think Netflix, probably in consultation with, you know, the industry in general, you know, they're trying to make sure that we can get the most out of the networks that exist in the United States. But no, I think, I mean, when I just look at the list that we came up with, definitely using standard def versus high def, I mean, just some of those basic things are helping the network in general. I don't see, based on looking at our network, I mean, we're still out there working 24/7 on upgrading our network, on splitting nodes, on adding capacity, on improving bandwidth. I mean, the networks in the United States are performing really well in general. So the problem too is that sometimes on your home end, your devices are also not the greatest. You know, people are using desktop computers or laptops that are really old and not upgraded, and that also affects your individual experience. But in the case of the Netflix example, yeah, I think that people are trying to throttle it a little bit so that that most can get the most out of it. But I don't think that has to continue for very long. I mean, we're kind of stabilizing now, kind of starting to peak over in terms of the amount of people that are working from home. And pretty soon some level of people will start going back to their offices. That will also alleviate some of the home challenge. I mean, some of you might have seen the announcement from some of the governors in the East, New York, Connecticut, and they're starting to talk about making a formal announcement to allow there'll be more essential businesses so people can start getting out there a little bit more. That will help the networks.
So when you're actually saying coffee pots, is that ones that are hooked up to your phone that you can start in advance or something? It's not just a regular espresso machine or coffee pot that you have plugged into your kitchen, right?
Right. There's a lot of, you know, smart devices in smart homes, coffee pots that you can turn on from your office, you know, refrigerators that keep track of when you need to reorder, crock pots that are connected to the Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Anything that talks to a network or you can talk to it through another device is connected to Wi-Fi.
It's like garage doors, all that kind of stuff that you can, interesting. I did not think of that. Okay.
So I have a question for Lisa in regards to your modem and router being centrally located. So I'm in the situation where our modem and router is centrally located, but the office that I work out of is downstairs. The modem and router are upstairs. I have 3 devices connected downstairs, a personal computer, a work computer, and here. So our system in this house is just completely bombarded. And we are, my family's plan is definitely at the high end of data usage. And of course it gets throttled after we've reached that. And we typically reach or exceed that on a monthly basis. So we are, you know, way above and beyond what we would normally do with I have a college student home now for the rest of the semester. I have a high school freshman who's doing online schooling. So what can I do to boost the stability in that downstairs office? And should we like attempt to disconnect devices that we're not using, you know, say tablets or Fire Stick or Roku or smart TVs, any of that at that time?
Yeah, I mean, any device that's not an essential device, if you can dismantle it or disconnect it from Wi-Fi, that's certainly one way to improve the capability. The other is, generally speaking, and I'm not trying to sell you on a product, but there are products out there that like panoramic Wi-Fi. I'm in the Comcast area, and so they have these little pods that you plug into outlets that boost your Wi-Fi through your house. Those things you can go online to cox.com or to comcast.net and see how to order those, and those you can self-install. So they can be shipped to you and you can install them yourself. You don't have to have a truck come. They're really easy. I have the pods in my house. You just basically plug them into an outlet so that it will like boost your router signal to upstairs or downstairs. Like I have one in the bedroom, I have one in the guest room because my router is central too. And so it boosts that signal strength up. So that's one, and they're not that expensive. You can buy them or you can rent them. The other thing is on data caps. We've taken off all data caps. We're not charging people for the overuse of data, and that's through May 15th to try to help with getting the kids through school. So we used to charge more, and I think all the companies are doing this, not just Cox. So that's one thing that we've done to try to help out during this time when there's a lot more bandwidth being used by households. But it sounds to me I'd first go through and try to disconnect, or if you just put your iPad down and it's still on, it can still be picking up Wi-Fi signal. So like make sure the devices are off when you're not using them. I would definitely reach out and do a little research online and see if you can get panoramic Wi-Fi, and it's so much better with that. Even after this, it's better. And they're not that expensive, and you won't be charged for overuse of data until through May 15th. So you might be able to, just doing some of those little adjustments, get your data caps back down. So when those fees come back, you'll be stabilized. Is that helpful?
Yes, very much so. I wasn't aware of the panoramic Wi-Fi, so that's definitely something that we can look into. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Lisa, I guess kind of continuing on that theme, I know that Cox has provided some sort of different plans or extended plans to, you know, some of them are designed to help those in need. So I think it might be good for you to explain the different plans that Cox has put together during this time.
Okay, so the first one is a program called Connect to Compete, which is not only a plan that Cox offers, but everyone in the cable industry offers this. It is for kids that are on reduced and free lunch at schools. And what it allows is for a family to get an internet connection for $9.99. That includes a free installation. It includes a free modem. And it's up to 50 meg. So it's a good, powerful product that will allow kids to homeschool. So that's definitely one. And we've had, as you can imagine, a real surge in that particular product offering in the last month or so. Although we've had that product in the market for 3 or 4 years now. So we've been out there pushing that as well. So we've been able to get a lot of Southern Arizona families on that program already, but they increased the speeds to 50. It was 20, I mean, it was 25. So they doubled the speed at no cost so that they could help with the additional needs of the homeschooling. We also, and this was really to target college kids, we have a new internet starter that is 50 meg for $20 a month. So if you're a free and reduced lunch kid, you get it for 10. If you're just a regular person, you get it for 20. So that's a really good internet starter package at 50 meg. Again, a really strong, good, solid speed and an economical price. Like I said, we eliminated the data caps. Let me see what else I have here. Pledges that we made for all our customers across the country. We would not terminate service to any residential home or small business customer because of the inability to pay and disruptions caused by this pandemic. So for small businesses that are struggling right now and a restaurant, they've been closed. I mean, we're not shutting off their internet. We're not going to cripple these businesses even more. Waiving late fees, residential or small business customers that have late fees as a result of some of these, the pandemic stuff. We opened up all our Cox Wi-Fi, outdoor Wi-Fi hotspots to be used by anyone. We have 2,500 across the country and about 900 of them in Southern Arizona. So opening up all those hotspots for people to use. Let's see what else is on here. Yeah, for the Connect to Compete customers, the ones that are free and reduced lunch, their first month is free for those that have signed up during this epidemic. So that's been really helpful. We also increased all our speeds for our essential tier from 30 to 50. So pretty much every single internet connection of Cox right now is at 50 meg. So that's really good news, I think, with all the bandwidth people are using. So I would say those are the main highlights, Michael, of what we're doing, not only as Cox, but as an industry, trying to respond nationally to this issue. But again, if you guys have, and please pass this on to your friends and family, if you have a financial situation occurring as a result of what's happening, it's best to call, whether it's Tucson Electric Power or Cox, call them and tell them your situation. You know, be proactive, because I suspect what's going to happen is there'll be people that just say, well, I can't pay, so I'm not paying. But no one informed us that this was COVID related. Because there are people that maybe had bad payment history with our company before this happened. So it's really good to be proactive and call and say, hey, you know, I work for a restaurant, I'm for whatever, I need this suspended, and make the call and make sure that you let companies like Cox and others know that's happening so that we can keep track and do the right thing on your bill.
Okay, thanks for that breakdown. We did put that information that you just talked about in terms of extending payments and whatnot on our COVID resource site. That was one of the first things that we put up. So we also put up the TDP and Southwest Gas and all the other utilities who are offering similar types of programs. Yeah, just want to let you know that the Cox information, some of the other utilities were some of the first things that we placed on the resource site, because those are, I think, some of the first things that came out immediately after things started shutting down. So yeah, I thought it would be important for you to lay those out, because I know Cox has done a lot to help improve service at homes and offer programs for individuals that need it. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks, Michael, for that. And the Chamber's been obviously a great partner, and we're trying to get the word out, not only our company, but others in this industry to make sure that people are aware of what their options are. But we need people to help us do it better too. But, you know, our trucks are rolling 24/7. Our network's in great shape. We're helping customers in unique and creative ways that we never thought we would ever do 30 days ago. And customers are being, for the most part, cooperative. I will tell you that we have a business continuity call every other day just to make sure that everything that we need to be doing to support our community is getting done as creatively as possible. We can feel some stress in our customer base right now in terms of their tone of voice with when they come into our retail store, which is open. You know, if you want to go down to our store on Broadway, we have employees there on the front line wearing masks and helping customers as best they can. And they'll continue to do that. But we can feel a little raise in the level of anxiety, whether it's people calling in to ask questions or they're stressed out about they need some technical assistance coming into the store to pay a bill. There's a higher level of stress. So it's understandable, but you know, really our frontline employees, they're some of the unsung heroes of the stories that will be coming out, the things that they do to help customers. There was a guy that worked for Cox out of our Scottsdale area, and he got a call from a daughter whose mom needed help, and this tech like got on his stomach and crawled up this hill and found a way to like talk to this grandma through a window. I mean, it's just, you know, these are the kind of really heartfelt stories that are happening. Not only are people trying to be helpful, but family members trying to help each other. So, you know, there are some silver linings. But we'll continue to, you know, we're continuing to monitor the situation on a daily basis, and our company will make adjustments to help customers and its employees really almost daily right now until we get through this hard period. Anything else on your mind with technology?
Do we have any more questions at this time?
Actually, I do have a real quick question, not related to the COVID-19, but I think you were saying, Lisa, and like me, I don't get Cox out where I am. It's only Comcast. I'm over in the west, like Tucson Mountains. Do you guys ever plan any kind of expansion over there at all with Cox? I used to have Cox and I lived on the east side for years, but just out of curiosity.
So, you know, our expansion is mainly commercial expansion up in that area, servicing hospitals and large office complexes and that type of thing. It's really economically challenging to build into residential areas. So I hope that, to say never, I would love to be a Cox customer too.
Right.
We're licensed to do business in Oro Valley, Marana, all those places. So I don't know. I think I would say that we go up there when we have a customer that we are servicing in the main area of our network. And usually those are commercial customers. So
Gotcha.
there's not any decision right now or emphasis on a big residential push in the north. So we'll be stuck with Comcast for a while longer.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
If we don't have any other questions, we can go ahead and end this session. Again, I want to thank you, Lisa, for all the information and helpful hints. And tomorrow our topic will be a chamber update with Amber Smith, Michael Guyman, and Robert Medler.
Great. Thank you guys all. Stay safe.
Lisa,
Thank you, Lisa.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lisa.